Are you still looking at me?
Right, so a couple of weeks ago I purchased this iPhone 6s, I believe it is, and it was pretty damaged. The battery was broken and it exploded on removal, so I took the battery out. As you can see, the frame is cracked, it is bent, there's pretty much everything wrong with it. The board is also dead, it is broken. The screen, as you can see, is also broken, but it still has the original button that is intact. A lot of parts could be salvaged off this. I've even got a brand new screen here. I've even got a really nice new housing as well. A nice black one to go with the black screen, so I think that will look amazing. I've even got a glowy logo that we're going to put in this as well. For this you are going to need a tool, like a knife or a screwdriver. As you can see, barely any glue on that, because it's not original Apple, so there's barely any glue, which is excellent for what we need. I do plan on getting a glowy logo in this. I have a circuit on my original iPhone, multicoloured, pretty nice, touch sensitive. I think it will go really well with the black. Usually when purchasing a new housing you get all these little black bits for the SIM and all the lock buttons. I hate changing these, and I'll show you why when we come to that. I think that's one of the first things that needs to go in as well, so that'll be fun to come to. Now, I did buy this off eBay. It was already broken. I didn't buy it and then break it, so putting this together I'm not sure what does work and what doesn't work, so we could very well, none of this could work, none of this could work. I know the board's dead for definite. Don't know about these, don't know about the Bluetooth, the NFC, camera. What we are going to do is start by removing the 3D touch. We're going to need to keep these screws in order. Yeah, there's this wire here, so we can't immediately apply that to that one unless we get the charging flex to move over. Now, I don't actually have a magnetic screwdriver for this, so I am just going to use a different screwdriver for the magnet part. See if we can completely remove this bottom part. It's not really necessary to stay in. There we go, look at that, completely destroyed. I have just removed this from the 6S. This does still work, so what we are going to do is also remove all the water sealants as well. There we go, I've just put that one in. We do need this as well for the new one. There we go, fits in nicely. We've also got the other one down there as well. Now we are just putting this into position now. It's going roughly well. Now we have just put the charging flex in the bottom of the phone. Nice and flush. We've got a silver around there and a grey around here. It was either that or a white, so grey is the best option we've got. Now, as you can see, for this phone it is going to be a black screen. I have got a brand new black screen here as well as a new logic board. We are going to test if this powers up and charges just before we put it all in. This doesn't actually go in like this, there's other things that need to go in first, but we are just simply testing the screen and the charging port as well as the logic board. So the logic board can just sit in like that, so we'll plug that on the motherboard, and if we get a logo then we know it's all working. Now we have also got a battery here to plug in and test, and there we go, the board's working, the battery is working, the screen is working. I'm not sure if the charging port is working, we'll soon find out. As you can see, it is charging, and if we unplug it, it stops charging. If we plug it back in, it starts charging. We've got the battery removed, we're going to take the screen off. We're also going to remove the logic board. Now what we do need to do as well, but they both come out in this case, so just falls away. But yeah, that was the logic board in this phone. This is where we start coming to the part that I hate. Mainly to do with the buttons, and I'll show you why in a little bit. But next thing to come out, we've got flash up here and a microphone. Now what we need to do is take both of these screws out for the lock button. We can now remove the brackets, and the buttons should just pop out as well. Now don't worry about mixing these buttons up, they're all the same size, so don't worry about that, we will just set them aside. But we do need the flex cable out of here, so we need to be very careful not to damage this. If this does rip, we do have a spare one. I prefer if this did not rip. considering the brackets are already on it, and that was the mute switch. Now this is held in by the microphone, which is a worry. See if we can get that microphone out. That's glued in pretty well. And there we go, that is everything out of this housing. So you can now pretty much bin this. Don't really need it. Actually bin both of them. Don't really need them anymore. I don't think we need the brackets off that one. We might actually need some of the screen brackets, so we will keep the screen. Now what we are going to do is install, there's no like tracks like these on the original. Like on the original you can see there's engravements to see where the cable actually needs to go on. Here there isn't, there is a little track there, but it is mainly going to be guesswork. So what we will do is get the flash and the microphone in first, and hopefully the rest should just fall into place. Sits over there nicely. The mute switch and buttons, as you can see, are now fall into place. And we have the flex already in. There we go, and now we're up to the part that I absolutely hate with every fibre. It's not so much as the mute switch, but these buttons. Now, if you've never actually done a housing replacement, you'll realise that you do need to change the buttons, and manufacturers for housings will not include this bracket or that little button there, this little metal piece that sits on the end. I'll just put an image up. But usually they sit right on the end and you have to take them out and put them on the new ones. Now I don't know why it's designed like that. Now we'll get all our buttons out. We don't really need the SIM. SIMs come out anyway, but we don't really need it. Not just yet anyway. And all of these buttons are going to need those brackets and the little dot. Now the dot I'm going to do last, but I'm going to get these brackets off. Now I'm going to need a flathead for this. Make sure that sits downwards. We're going to screw this on, and hopefully if we put some pressure behind it you can hear it click. So I'm going to screw that one down while I've got the chance now. And there we go, there's one. Clicks just fine as well, as you can hear. You need to make sure you get the tension correct, otherwise the button might be a bit loose, but now it's clicking, the springs are working fine. Now let's do the other two. Alright, now it looks like I've got that in, so if I put some pressure on this, sounds like it's working. What I'm going to do is, while I've got the chance, I'm going to screw that down as well. Now what I'm going to do is take a screw from one of these brackets on the side that just holds the battery in place to hold the buttons in place, considering was actually missing a screw. So the bottom one's working but the top one isn't. Now I'm assuming during the process did get jammed a little bit, so we are gonna loosen it, not fully, so just had to there you go, can you hear that? Top one's working, bottom one, mute button, hot button. So that is the buttons completely done. Now we can actually start putting the phone back together. So let's get rid of all those buttons, and now the next thing that goes in is the new logic board. Now what we are going to do while we've got the chance, and before we forget, we do need to remove that. Every time I build an iPhone back up I keep forgetting about that. Make sure you don't get that trapped. I almost forgot then, but I build it back up and then I wonder why it's not working, and it's that. Also do these antennas. I hate these antennas. Now we can properly start rebuilding the phone. Just make sure the flash and everything's back in. If you really want to, you can even put your SIM card in, or your SIM card tray, SIM card as well. Even that's in. Now we need to put this standoff in. Remember, I actually don't have a screw for this. Oh, that's got stuck. Even put the camera back in as well if you wanted to. This is usually a bit of a faff to get in as well. The way that this goes in is just like that. Then we can screw the camera back down. This bit here is usually a faff as well, so you want to make sure you get that held down. This screw just basically went over here. Nothing special about this one, it just holds the board down to the rest of the frame. Right, and that's basically the entire part of the phone that's gone back in. Now we need to do the LED circuit. Now the LED circuit, what the hell is this? Okay, the LED circuit will just sit right on there, and I think this one may be a little bit dodgy, so we do have to be careful with this one. Put this right up to the side, put the battery in, install that, push the battery in, make sure the circuit turns on. Doesn't look like the circuit's turning on. There we go, circuit turns on. Look at that, look how amazing that looks. That looks absolutely amazing. I think a nice red. Red looks awesome. So what we're going to do now is we are going to set out the new display, and as you can see on the new display there's none of the little brackets or the camera or sensor, so we are going to put them on the new display. So we're just going to move all this out the way for now, bring in the old display and the new home button. Here's the new home button, the same home button that comes with your phone to use Touch ID for the new ones like 7 and 8, and probably the new special edition as well. For it to actually work, it's mainly just the camera and everything at the top and everything at the bottom. We might need this like metal plate because we don't have it on this one. Right, so the button is actually in place, which is good. This metal plate though, we might actually need this because we don't have it on this one. There we go, there's that plate detached that I was looking for. And there's glass literally falling off this. This is very dangerous. We'll leave that metal plate for a second and actually get the speaker and sensor off this. And that will just sit nicely on there if we just sit it like that. There's a little hole as well for the dot to go in. That just sits like that. Get this bit of plastic. This is the camera. Put that in there. No, yeah, that is the camera. Then we want the speaker. Alright, that's kind of clicked into place. So what we'll do is we'll take this as well. Now we need this metal plate on. So that goes over all of that. And there's the screen all put back together. Now I know you meant to screw the battery in last, but this LED circuit is very, very dodgy. As you can see, it's just turned off. Now it's turned back on. It is very dodgy, so I like to make sure that it still works. So now we can actually install the screen. Now let's screw down the display plate. There we go, the final screws in. There we go. Now sometimes these circuits do mess up, so let's see if we can close the screen down without the circuit turning off. Screen is all the way down. Does the circuit still work? The circuit still works. Excellent. And I have got the pentalobe screws in here for this, and there's two. There's both the screws. I think these are silver, obviously pentalobe screwdriver. And there we go. So let's turn it on. Look at that, guys, absolutely amazing. Nice LED Apple logo. So this phone has gone from being this to this lovely device. Now guys, tell me what you think down in the comments. This is obviously not a gaming video, but this is not one of my normal videos. But tell me what you think down in the comments. I think this looks amazing compared to what I use as my daily driver. Both of these are RGB as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.